What's up, guys? Our wrestling podcast back at you with another episode. This is Dave Vicious, along with Just Total Package, Craig the British Bulldog, and Uncle Cuz, bringing you our perspective on the world of professional wrestling. No inside sources, no ties to the industry, just stories from the diehards, sharing opinions with you. Today's topic: John Cena, 2005. For audio fans, please listen on Apple, Spotify, SoundCloud, and iHeartRadio, or watch our videos on YouTube at Our Wrestling Channel, and check out exclusive content on Daily Motion at Our Wrestling Podcast. And on social media, can you give us a follow on Instagram at O.W.P 2019? Or on Facebook at Our Wrestling Podcast. What happened in 2005?
Nothing.
That's right.
The end.
The end.
This was John Cena's biggest year in the sense of like this was the year that he won his first world title. This was the year that WrestleMania 21, which is one of my favorite WrestleManias, to be honest. It crowned him and Batista. And it was kind of like a clear, I felt like it was like they were trying to launch us into the next decade, you know, so like these two superstars that they were, and Orton was prominent on WrestleMania 21, and, you know, we had Carlito at the time, and Chris Masters, and I remember all that whole kind of, Shelton Benjamin was like a whole ushering in of this like next generation. Like, because Lesnar came out kind of before. Lesnar was like, 01 when he came out, and then he won the world title. It was 01 or 02?
02, buddy.
And, all
because it was pretty fast.
Talking about John Cena. Yeah. But what I mean is like he's a little bit before, and then like the rest of the class that, you know, I have that T-shirt where it has the High Valley Wrestling class of him, Batista, like, and all that.
Orton,
But like Batista and Cena were crowned in 05. And I remember that specifically, you know, that was the awesome Triple H feud that Batista had. And John Cena was kind of left with the secondary feud, which we're stuck right now as we're recording this. We're in that weird after Rumble before WrestleMania. Elimination Chamber hasn't happened yet. But the big feud was Batista and Triple H over the World Heavyweight Championship because, you know, Evolution kind of split up and all that stuff. So John Cena, this was like a very important year for him. 05, and we'll talk about like how it ended, and you know, this is where the 50-50 crowd boo started to happen and cheer, and it's just really was a crazy year for him. But this was John Cena's like banner year.
The coming out party. After a successful 2004, John Cena came into the 05 year with a lot of momentum. He was a 3-time U.S. champion. He's becoming extremely popular with fans. On the January 30th, 2005 episode, Cena took part of the Royal Rumble match. Sorry, so it was Royal Rumble on January 30th. Man, it keeps getting pushed out more and more, isn't it? January 30th. Making it to the final two. He and Batista went over the top rope at the same time. At first ending the match, but the match was restarted and won by Batista. We kind of have to stop right there because that wasn't scripted. That wasn't on purpose.
Yeah, and it was really weird, you know, like the boldness of trying to put the two top guys in. You know, it's like they went out of their way to keep the title separate because they wanted the WWE Championship and the World Heavyweight Championship. But then Vince fucking had the last two guys, the most popular guys, in the ring. So you're going to split your crowd like right away. And it was kind of like you really felt that Batista was super over here. I almost felt like it wasn't fair to Cena this early on because when you talk about like the split crowd reactions, like when you know, they did the whole classic what Brett and Luger did from '94, where one guy put his hands up and the crowd would cheer, and then Brett put his hands up and it was noticeably louder than Luger's. Like Batista kind of had the more guttural, like male audience, like you could hear, and then when Cena would raise his hands, you would hear the screams of the girls. But like really, Batista was a little bit louder, and it was a more valuable storyline, I think, that Batista was a part of with Triple H because everybody wanted Batista to win to challenge Triple H. That was the whole thing. It's like, if you win the Royal Rumble, you're not going to challenge me, right? You're going to challenge JBL, and that was the whole thing. So it was really all booked around Batista. So I found it interesting that Vince, knowing that he wanted to put the belt on Cena as well, the other belt, like put the two in there against each other. You really risk splitting your audience because if the audience doesn't like the matchup that they see, or they instantly want to cheer one and not cheer the other, you're kind of damaging the other brand. So in a weird way, like Cena was like 1B and Batista was supposed to be 1A. Batista got injured in 05. And again, Dave's going to read on that John Cena ended up becoming the face of the company. And this really, from this year, this was so important for him, like, because he ended up being Vince McMahon's like, I trust that guy. He's not going to get injured. He shows up on time. He's fucking awesome on television. Not that Batista wasn't, but like Batista getting injured later in the year, I think really told Vince, like, this is my guy. Cena's the guy I could easily put the whole company on his back, and I'm safe with that. I'm fine with that.
Are we not gonna? I mean, I know it's a Cena, read along that we're doing, but we're not going to talk about what actually happened. Like the situation here, like this Royal Rumble over the top at the same time was not supposed to happen. This was not. It was not scripted. It was not. It was
I know I'm wrong, but I don't care what anybody says. Like, to me, like, it happened way too perfect. Like, everything was perfect.
It was really perfect.
Like, yeah,
but then Vince came out and tore his quads to reset the match. Am I wrong? I mean, am I thinking of something different?
It was a huge fuck up. Like, but it was just like it really shows you how good WWE is with production. It really does. And like them thinking on the fly and having all those people at Gorilla, they had to this 90 seconds was like a fuck for like 90 seconds. But they were reviewing tape in the back, rewinding monitors real quick, trying to find out. Okay,
while they're holding the hands up, they're wasting time in the ring.
Batista picked Cena up in the power bomb and fell backwards. And then Cena's momentum spun them both out over the top rope, and they both fell at the same time.
Yep, literally.
And it looked like it was totally planned. Like, you go back and look, this has to be the greatest mistake ever, as far as like just the way it looked. It looked like something, and the cameras were in the right position. Everything was in the right position to catch it. So that's why, as a fan at the time, and I remember the dirt sheets later on saying that wasn't planned, that was a mistake. I'm like, bullshit. Like, they just got you all. They got you, you fucking marks. They got you all. Because I was like, there's no way. This was too perfect.
Wait a minute. Who touched first?
Batista wins it.
What? No. Wait a minute.
Referee is calling. Referee Jack Doan has raised Batista's hand.
Oh, man.
Both men went over the top rope. Both his feet obviously touched the floor.
Wait a minute. Wait, hold on, Jay. I think. Yeah, no, Cena won. No.
Well, man, we got some.
Yeah.
Like, but no, like, it was a mess up, and the momentum, I guess Batista picked him up, and what Cena said is like, I don't go over backwards. So Batista picked him up, and Cena's facing the ropes. Batista was supposed to spin, and then Cena was supposed to go backwards. And I guess Cena, on one of the shows that he just recently did, one of the podcasts, recently said, he said, I don't fall backwards very well. So when I had to spin backwards, I clinch everything. So he just fell over and he pulled Dave with him. He took Batista with him, who was anticipating like Cena. And I think that was supposed to be the ending where Cena fell out. And, I think so. I think Dave was just supposed to throw him backwards over the top rope, and that was it. But like, Cena pulled him over and they both hit at the same time, which looked amazing. And then they were in the back really quick before Vince ran out there. They were like, if Cena hits first, we're going to show the replay and show that Cena hits first and Batista wins. Nope, they hit at the fucking same time.
Right at the same time.
It looks so good. And then that's when they get back in the ring and they're all panicking. And then Vince is like, I'm fucking going out there. And Vince goes out, blows both his fucking knees out, gets in the ring and pretty much tells everyone to restart it. And they just had a schmoz for a few seconds. And then Batista ended up just throwing him out, winning, which that was weird. That's the only thing I can go back and look at to go, yeah, that was a little weird, because that was just rushed. It was like they restarted the match and then Batista's like, I'm throwing you out, just fucking don't, and like just threw him out. And that was like, that's the only thing that leads me to believe that, okay, yes, that was all a fuck up, which I know it was.
They're working you,
but Richard said it was a fuck up. Everybody said it was a fuck up. But at the same time, it looked so good. The only thing that looked out of place was fucking the owner of the company blowing his goddamn knees out. Like, I just thought that was the,
that was
the icing on the cake right there.
Just sitting on the rope.
Ultimate commitment. Yeah,
right.
The ultimate commitment by Vince. So I'm just gonna blow my knees out.
I have 65 seconds for that adrenaline runs off. So I'm
just gonna do it. I'm gonna blow both my fucking quads out, guys.
That's wild.
That's crazy.
At No Way Out on February 20th, Cena defeated Kurt Angle to earn a spot in the SmackDown Brands WrestleMania 21 main event match, beginning a feud within WWE champion John Bradshaw Layfield, JBL, and his cabinet in the process. No elimination chamber at this moment, right? So this is just how it worked going to WrestleMania, correct?
Read on, buddy.
Oh, why? Okay. In the early stages of the feud, Cena lost the U.S. Championship to the cabinet member Orlando Jordan And at WrestleMania 21, April 3rd, Cena defeated JBL to win the WWE Championship, his first World Championship, right then and there. So there it is.
It was really weird. It was just this fucking early time where now like they really lean on Elimination Chamber. It was like the after Rumble kind of thing. They just which makes it look even weirder to me. It's like Vince in his mind was like, okay, Batista's going to Rumble, and then Cena, we're gonna have you just win a match, and you're gonna challenge. Like I remember as a fan feeling like Cena was going after the lesser title at that point, even though that was the actual WWE Championship that JBL had, and the World Heavyweight title for one of the few times became to me like more of the focus point.
Watch out from hell! Cena ducked underneath it! The cover! 1, 2, 3! Is the champion! Oh man! Here is your winner and the new WWE champion, John Cena! I can't believe where did that come from? Exactly!
It's really all who that wears it.
And forgive me, what Cena was this Thugonomics Cena, or is this Hustle, Loyalty, Respect? With
This is
before that.
Yeah, this is Thugonomics, and then after he wins the world title, he transitions into the Hustle, Loyalty, Respect, which I think is what people ultimately started kind of boo cheering. Like was like he transformed like into the white meat baby face, like
because right before one of my favorite pay-per-views in that year. So not WrestleMania.
What's that? Which one was that, buddy?
We'll get to it.
Right?
We'll get to it. ECW.
It's kind of like I was kind of like the Warrior, but done right. It's kind of weird because when how Warrior used to change his title belt, it was like he had the purples and the blues and the whites. Cena gets his own WWE Championship belt, which is a spinner belt, which I never really liked it. That's just my opinion.
I did not either.
I think they sold a lot of them. It's okay. But JBL would take the original title belt and claim he was still the WWE champion until Cena defeated him in an I Quit match at Judgment Day on May 22nd to retain the title. So just to be clear, Jess, this was not his second title win. They didn't mark that, right?
And by the way, JBL had the Universal or the Undisputed Heavyweight Championship that Jericho won.
Right.
And that Triple H had and Hogan had in 2002 and like that one, the Undisputed Championship belt. JBL was wearing that one. Because that's when Eddie Guerrero beat from Lesnar.
Right. And Cena was then drafted to the Raw brand on the June 6th episode of Raw, becoming the first wrestler selected in the annual draft lottery. Cena immediately entered into a feud with Raw general manager Eric Bischoff after refusing to participate in the war against the Extreme Championship Wrestling ECW roster at the 2005 ECW One Night Stand. At Vengeance in June 26th, Cena retained the title against Christian and Chris Jericho in a triple threat match, with Bischoff vowing to make Cena's stint on Raw difficult. He handpicked Jericho to take Cena's championship from him. During that feud, even though Cena was portrayed as the face and Jericho as the heel, a vocal section of live crowds nonetheless were cheering Jericho and booing Cena during the matches, including on August 21st SummerSlam, where Cena defeated Jericho and continued to retain his title.
That match sticks out to me as the turn. Like we had never seen that.
Right?
The face that Vince was booking, we had never seen a 50-50 boo cheer before. And I remember that feud with Jericho because that's when he changed his theme music. He was transitioning into the Hustle, Loyalty, Respect babyface. And I think the fans didn't care for it. Like they just didn't like it per se. And Jericho had a lot of, at the time, Jericho was super over. He was like one of the, at this point, 100%. Jericho, it was before the suit Jericho, right? Because Jericho left here. Jericho took a break for a while after SummerSlam and came back as a suit Jericho. And, but here, people knew Jericho. He had lineage. He was kind of like decorated. And so people still like Chris Jericho, even though they try to turn him heel. Sometimes you just don't want to ever boo babyface, or a guy that you view as babyface, even though they're turning him heel. It's like, I know Jericho's heel, but I'm gonna still cheer him. And that's what happened to Cena. And it makes it difficult, when wrestling fans complain about, why don't you push younger guys? Well, sometimes you look at what happened to Cena, it's hard, and later on, Roman Reigns was a harsher example of that, where like 80% of the stadium was booing him, like every time he went out there, and he was a fucking face, And so it's hard, wrestling, again, just like we always talked about in the mid-90s, they were going through a change and they didn't really know what they wanted. And then finally the NWO came along and it all changed. in mid 2000s, wrestling fans were changing again, and they were more sick and tired of the don't go back to the Hogan thing, please don't. And that's what they were booking Cena as here. And wrestling fans right away, they just sensed it, and they're like, no, we don't. We liked him as the rapper Cena. We liked him because he was different. He was unique. He wasn't like this. Now you're making him come down, kiss babies, do the whole thing, and it's like, no, like people didn't want that. Now we look at it.
That's not how Cena got over from the get.
You're way too close. Don't get disqualified. What do we got here? Oh, are you kidding me? Cena! The three! Cena's done it! The champ is still here!
Here is your winner, and still the WWE Champion, John Cena!
Cancel the celebration!
It really was.
Yeah, and so people were not liking that at all. So he was like a really precursor to, but the thing is what nobody really knew is that Cena was really fucking talented, and he was a really good company guy, and he understood the pressure, and he wore it well. And that is the marking of a Hogan and an Austin and The Rock before him. And, I know a lot of people, because unfortunately Cena kind of led us into the PG era and people don't like that. But at the same time, like Cena did his job, and you first started, you saw the crack in the armor here. Like I specifically remember that SummerSlam match going, dude, like people are fucking booing Cena. Not a good look, huh? Like, and it was just this. And then Vince became determined after that. He's like, it doesn't matter. I'm going to fucking shove him down your throat. And for the next 5 years, he was just shoving Cena down our throat. It's like,
Cena wins, LOL.
Crowds booed Cena, like we talked about on the next feud was with Kurt Angle, who took over as Bischoff handpicked number one contender after Cena defeated Jericho in a "You're Fired" match. That's when I think he left, just as you were talking about the comeback.
Yeah, that's when Jericho took a break for a while.
Yeah, and then Cena held on to the championship through his feud with Angle, losing to him by disqualification on September 18th at Unforgiven, pinning Shawn Michaels in a triple threat match involving Angle at Taboo Tuesday on November 1st.
Good.
Taboo Tuesday.
I was there for that.
Pinning Angle at the November 27th
I was there for that
Survivor Series. You were at Survivor Series?
No, Taboo Tuesday in San Diego.
Oh, Taboo Tuesday? Oh, it was San Diego.
I didn't go to that one. That's right. Fuck.
Me and Tyler went.
The feud with Angle saw Cena at a secondary submission-based finishing maneuver, the STFU, a step over toe hold sleeper, though named for a step over toe hold face lock.
like it. He doesn't lock it in on him.
Just look at
It's not proper.
When he was put into a triple
That's
threat
actually not
submission,
great.
it's
He's
only
not
I mean, what the fuck is Cena doing? He's getting in there. He's disrespecting us. All these old veterans.
He can't do a submission match.
What the fuck?
But wasn't that the whole story for that? Is he doesn't know how to do submissions. That's why he got it. That's why they made him do a submission match.
Yeah, because Angle had the ankle lock, and then so he was like, I got one too.
And everyone's like, oh, yeah. So he got him. He got him.
It's a super sloppy STF.
John Cena!
He's not still anything. And this match is not over. Charles Robinson is a SmackDown referee and has no business.
At a New Year's
really
Revolution
is.
at January 8th of next year, 2006, Cena retained the WWE Championship in the Elimination Chamber match after last eliminating Carlito. But immediately afterwards, Mr. McMahon announced Edge was cashing in his Money in the Bank contract,
Dude,
a
I
guaranteed
remember
title
that.
match
Fuck.
against.
I had to include the run over for 06 because, man, that Edge cash in, it made Edge. Like, and
There's two
by the
quick
way,
spears that allowed Edge to pin Cena and win the championship.
on my list of podcast topics that we haven't done yet, it's going to be greatest feuds, Edge and Cena, because their feud
was awesome.
really good. The fight in the hotel room, like the sex scene between Lita and when Cena comes out and F5's on the bed, like that was, I mean, there's some really, really classic stuff like between those people. But yeah, like that 05 year for Cena was defining, and they put him in there against Angle and Jericho and JBL and everybody they could to get him over. And it's how you do it, and it just sometimes a little tweak that you do, it pisses us off. And I know because wrestling was becoming less mainstream after they bought WCW, like it kind of dwindled out in 05, 06. I remember there was like an injection of youth. I remember Batista and Cena and Carlito and Chris Masters being like a breath of fresh air, and they were really, and Shelton Benjamin and all. It was just a breath of fresh air. But like Vince like he snuffed it. Like I really felt Vince more here in like the late 2000s and 2010s and everything. And that's when we all as fans got fatigued because we're like, we felt Vince pulling people back. We felt us cheering people and pushing people in a certain direction, but we felt Vince purposely like curbing people or dumbing them down. And Vince was just, it wasn't Cena's fault, but it's just the era that Cena walked into. What's Cena going to say? No. Oh, you want to put the title on me and really put the wagon to me? No. Like, of course he's going to do it. And
No.
Cena carried it just as good as Hogan and Austin and everybody else. Like, you know,
and work for me.
Well, now he's cheering. He comes out. There's no more Cena sucks chance. There's a massive pops when he walks out. You know, and he deserves them. He deserves all of them, every bit of it. And you know, he was never the most. He was clumsy. He, you know, the way he
just looks clunky because of his body. He's like so bulky
just,
and like
the way he never was. But like he'll pull a right. Like that's exactly.
He'll admit to all that. He's talked about that.
No, he's great.
Have you seen the scene with he's drinking tea with a beautiful old English lady, and he's like, "You can't see me," and you know, and she does the back, "You can't see me." He's like, "Well, I'm out of a job." She's like, "Well, I can't wrestle." And he goes, "Well, people say I can't either."
Oh yeah, I see that. Yeah,
he just embraces the whole thing.
That's actually fucking funny.
You know? Yeah, it's hilarious. You know, he's like, "Well, I have this thing," you know.
He was, you know, and I went to a lot of house shows when it was already 50-50 Cena, you know, like, and it didn't matter, even though the boos were loud, but the cheers were just as loud. It's like half the crowd was fighting the other half, but that energy was there. The same energy I felt when I saw Austin live and The Rock live and Hogan live in their primes, like the building kind of vibrates, and Cena had that, even though it was half cheers and half boos, that it was so passionate and kind of just like organic. It worked for him. In a weird way, it was his pop.
If I'm doing the math right, it was basically just under a decade he won 16 world titles.
Yeah, he was the top guy. Like there's no question. And this was like the year that I remember in my mind. Whenever I think of Cena, I always think of 05. It all the time.
It's 05 to 2014 that Cena won 16.
And then him and Edge, like you said, you gotta do that. Yeah,
the 06, the Edge feud was awesome. Like,
how long did it take? How long did it take Ric Flair to win 16 world titles?
I mean,
like 50 years
from the early 80s all the way. Yeah,
30 years. Yeah,
I'm just saying it's
20 at least.
It's quite impressive and interesting. Like just the comparisons. That's wild. And I know that WWE was flipping the title around quite a bit in these days. So I mean, and there was some desperation in the.
So I won it 16 times.
The 2010s for sure. So, but still 16 times in just under a decade. It's something else.
Yeah, this is an important year. And as we, start marching down to Cena, my plan by the end of the year, which is going to be the end of his in-ring career, we're going to do a legacy of him, which is going to be a lot more effort and obviously more time.
Oh my God.
But I wanted to kind of sneak in. Now that we're going into WrestleMania, we're heading towards WrestleMania right now. It's so funny because people think this is it for him. WrestleMania is the biggest show of the year.
He's done.
So in my mind, how are they going to book November and December to say goodbye to John Cena in pay-per-views that don't really kind of like garner that kind of attention? WrestleMania and SummerSlam with
a aggression coming in September. I don't know.
Yeah, they're the right, like Survivor Series, ruthless aggression. So I don't know how it's going to look for him to say goodbye in December, which is an odd month and not a downturn, but like it's not one of the bigger pay-per-views in December. So it's just kind of like we all view WrestleMania as like his last hurrah, but no, he's got like 9 more months after WrestleMania.
I think he has it all planned out too. Tripp said something.
I'm sure.
Like, when you have the career of John, you get to kind of do what you want. So I think he's signed off on anything. So I think he's got everything booked. So
he might be heel.
Where he wants.
That's how you make it interesting. He might be going heel.
To do like a 4 or 5 month stint heel, and then he turns face again at the end and realizes like, hey, But are people going to boo Cena at this point? I don't know. I don't think so. Like it's really weird. It's like when they want us to boo Cena, we're not going to. But then when they want us to cheer Cena back in 05, 06, we were like, boo. Like, it's so weird. Like, his career is going to be super polarizing, I think, either way we look.
I want to go back and watch that Taboo Tuesday now because I remember you could see me and Tyler in the crowd a bunch of times.
Like, booing. You guys are fuck you.
Yeah.
For San Diego Sports Arena, is that where it was?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Versus Shawn Michaels?
Yeah, Cena, Angle, and Michaels. And I remember Christian... God, he was in a match, or he wasn't in a match, but we voted for him because that's when they had like where you would vote like for the stipulation or who's going to fight who and stuff like that. And I voted for Christian, but he didn't get it. I forgot.
Flair over Triple H in a cage. You saw
that was a good match too.
That's right. Oh my God, that's right.
Yeah, that was actually a really good match. Yeah,
it was. So
over Jonathan Coachman.
Who?
It was Batista defeated Jonathan Coachman.
Oh, good.
Yeah, that.
No, remember that's when they had Vader run down and Vader fell.
Oh no.
God, I don't know if that happened at that.
I want to say because wasn't he supposed to face somebody else or something like Batista?
Yeah, see, I gotta go back and watch that shit now.
Somebody couldn't make it. Maybe I'm thinking of a different time. I remember Vader running down and he fell like trying to get into the ring or something like that because he was way like that.
It's like he pulled a Shockmaster is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Dang it.
It was somewhere around that. But yeah, John Cena 05, like my favorite year of him. And I love that year in general. I love WrestleMania 21.
Dude, Edge is 2005 because that's the Matt Hardy drama. You gotta So we gotta do an Edge 2005, and then we do the Edge.
In 06, that Rated R Superstar. We do Rated R Copa Star.
Actually, you might as well do Lita 2005 because that'll say everything.
No, we don't. Please
Dave,
stop.
we're doing right now. We're rolling into.
All right,
and I
Coke
just
City.
We're
going into Coke scripted right now.
Can I call
I just emailed the topic Edge 05.
I have some PTO I would like to take for that particular.
We don't have
That's
PTO here at O Wrestling Podcast, so I didn't.
In January, Lita was sleeping with Matt Hardy. In February, Lita was sleeping with Edge.
For audio fans, give us a listen to Apple, Spotify, SoundCloud, and iHeartRadio. Watch our videos on YouTube at Our Wrestling Channel.
Watch it.
Check out exclusive content on Daily Motion at Our Wrestling Podcast. And on social media, can you give us a follow on Instagram?
Live on Twitch on Fridays. Live on Twitch.
On Fridays.
Live on Twitchers.
I got the socials on the right.
If you're old or dead, you can check out Facebook at Our Wrestling Podcast as well. For Cuz and the rest, this is the O.W.P. signing off. Have a good one.